So Valentina Shevchenko versus Jennifer Maia just took place in the co-main event of UFC 255, Figueiredo versus Perez, and it was a fight, and it featured two females at 125 pounds, and they fought each other, and it was a fight, and Shevchenko got the job done. She got the job done by decision. It was eventually 49-46 on all the judges' scorecards, which I agreed with, because actually, Jennifer Maia went out there and shocked a lot of people, and the odds makers as well, because those live odds were changing crazily, like Adesanya's hormone levels, but still, Valentina Shevchenko lost a round at flyweight, which is interesting. It makes it a little bit more interesting. I feel like what we took away from this fight was not... Everyone knew that Shevchenko was going to win. Let's just say that. But it was more like... I feel like the game with Shevchenko at flyweight is like, okay, but how does she win? You know what I mean? Like, how does Shevchenko beat Maia? That was the real game coming into this fight. It wasn't like, oh, who's going to pick Maia? If you pick Maia, you're stupid, and you were Hail Marying. That's all you were doing. If you're a predictor out there, and you found any way of making a Maia prediction video, you should be ashamed of yourself. And you were doing it because you were hoping for some fluky win out of nowhere, so you could say, I was the only one that picked it. Shevchenko is always going to win the fight. How does she get it done? I thought Shevchenko would get the job done by decision. I thought that was alright. I got a decision prediction right there. That was nice. I just noticed that every single time Shevchenko fights a girl who can take her down, she just plays it hesitant. She did it with Liz Carmouche as well. She doesn't like it. She doesn't like playing that takedown game. If she knows she's got Caitlin Chukagian or Jessica Ai in front of her, she'll just rip them to shreds. But when she doesn't have those people in front of her, she seems to take it to a decision. She doesn't like the threat of being on her back, and we saw that in this fight. Once she was on her back against Jennifer Maia, she didn't really have any answers to get back up, but still, she knew that she would get back out there in the third round and just pick right up when she left off in the first. But still, good win from Shevchenko. I want to say this, though. I'm going to say it. If that's a male fighter, they get tormented on Instagram for a year for having a shit fight. That was a terrible. I'm going to say it. I don't give a fuck that she's a female. And there's a bunch of simps in this world. Honestly. If that's a male fighter, they get booed out of the arena. She was lucky there was no fans. She'd be booed out of the arena. But she probably wouldn't be booed out of the arena. It's so crazy. And this is why every single card, it happened with Chukagian and Calvillo on this card tonight as well. It happened with the same... It happened again, this card. Unless we start holding the women's fighters to the same standards that we hold the men, they're never going to get to those standards. Everyone's like, oh, but the bravery of Maia. They fucking held each other for 5 rounds. I know that people are going to call me... I've watched every event. Early prelims through to main event for the past I don't know how many fucking years. It's 7 a.m. Don't call me a fucking casual. It's 7 a.m. and I'm making reaction videos to MMA fighters. Okay? They did fucking nothing until the 5th round. Absolutely fucking nothing to each other until the 5th round. The only things that happened were a takedown at the start of each round, and then nothing happened after that. They just held on to each other, landed total strikes. I'll read you the stats right now. If this is a men's fight, we're ripping them to shreds, so I'm going to rip the women's fight to shreds as well. 4-1 on strikes in the first round. If Usman has an output of 4 significant strikes, he ain't hearing the fucking end of it on Instagram. He's getting bullied for a month. 3-7. Jennifer Maia wins 7-3 in the second round. An output of 10 in 5 minutes. 8-5 Shevchenko. 12-5 Shevchenko. These numbers are booable, but we don't boo it. We say, heart of a champion. Heart of a champion. She held her longer. It's so stupid. And also, I do want to mention this as well. If that's a male fight and the referees are guilty of this, they stop women's fights early, they judge women's fights differently, they handle women's fights differently with their decision making in the cage. If that's a male fight, do you know how many times that gets separated and stood back up? How many fights? Felipe Colares versus Jorgen de Castro. So many fights recently have been separated against the cage, but not Holly Holm versus Pennington. We can't separate the females. It's so weird. Either have a standard for everyone, and everyone will meet that standard, or lower your standards for certain people, and they'll never meet the standard. It's crazy to me. It's like when Holly Holm fought Irene Aldana, and people were like, where's the performance bonus for Holly Holm? She did what a normal fighter does. And a normal fighter probably gets booed for that performance that she had against Aldana. There's a lower standard, and it's stupid as fuck, and we should hold everyone to the same standard. That was a boring fucking fight until the 5th round, and I have my rights to say that. I almost fell asleep. It was nothing but full guard and half guard the entire time, and I said this, if it's a men's fight, it's getting stood up. If it's a men's fight, they're getting separated at the cage, everything. And they don't do it because they're female. It was just ridiculous. Joe Rogan was fucking having an orgasm every single time Maia happened to get over-unders. It was crazy how much they pander to this. It was not a good performance, and she's going to keep doing that unless we start... No one's going to say anything, though. Just let it happen. Hold each other. It's a co-main event of a big pay-per-view. All eyes on the UFC tonight. The UFC 255 trending #1 on Twitter in USA. And we get this because no one holds them to account. It wasn't a good performance from from Shevchenko. She looked a little bit off. I'll say that as well. She looked a little bit off tonight. And the women's strawweights have great fight. This ain't an attack on women's MMA overall. But this women's flyweight division ain't good, man. There is no contenders. Maia had nothing. The fact that Shevchenko was a -2,000 favorite tells you all you need to fucking know about this division. It tells you all you need to know. It's nothing. And I can't take it anymore listening to the commentary talk about how dangerous this fight is for Shevchenko. Can't even speak. It was just so annoying. And I'm going to get dislikes on this video, but I'm just saying how it fucking is. If Usman did that, I'd be shitting on him and everyone would be like, yeah, shit on Usman. I'm doing it to Shevchenko. I guarantee you I get dislikes because I'm doing it to Shevchenko. You don't know what it's like, fatty. You sit on the sidelines. You're not in the cage. If I was in the cage, I'd throw and land more than 4 shots against Jennifer Maia. Just saying. I wouldn't sit in the same position. And you know what? I'd get stood up if I did because I'm a man. And that's what they do to men fighters. If you're sitting in full guard for 4 minutes of round 1, you get stood up. That's just what's going to happen. It's dumb as fuck, man. But still, good performance, I guess. She won the fight. Legacy. She's great, you know? She's so elite. She is good. But it's just... Come on. You know? Am I the only one here? I feel like I'm lonely. I need to see the comments of this stream. Like, she landed more in the 5th round than every other round combined. And that was only 35, which is like the average male fights round. So I don't know anymore. I don't know how much I can just go crazy over a fucking over-under. Like, we're going to have to... I don't know what we're going to do. But moving forward, I guess. The Andrade fight is something that Dana White wants to make immediately. So there's no build-up for Andrade. I feel like we should build up Andrade versus another opponent, like Lauren Murphy versus Jessica Andrade. But I guess this opens the door to now do Lauren Murphy versus Chukagian for the next title shot. To see if she can defend that one. I mean, this was good to see. This was good to see Shevchenko have some problems. She got held down in the 2nd round. And it made me think, you know what? What does happen in a Jessica Andrade fight? What happens in a Jessica Andrade fight? What happens if Andrade has her in the same position that Maia had her in the 2nd round? Is there reigning ground and pound? Is there a submission attempt? Is there any fucking movement that isn't sitting there in guard for 5 fucking minutes and then holding her against a cage when you're not doing that? I'm going to go fucking crazy if this keeps happening. But all good. All good. She threw 4 strikes and they weren't even that significant in the 1st round. And 3 in the 2nd. Man. I'm angry. My blood is boiling. And I liked it and she won. And I'm glad Shevchenko won. And I was wanting Maia to win. I picked Shevchenko by decision, obviously, because there's no way you can pick Maia with a straight face. I wanted Maia to win just for interest. But it's just not even... It's just hugging, man. It's just fucking hugging. But she's the bullet. So whatever, you know. Let's move on. All good, though. She wins. Legacy. What a goat. 300 grand for that. Yeah. What a fucking life. 300 grand for that. All good. I'm not, listen, man, I'm going to get dislikes here. I don't give a fuck. I'm just saying how it fucking is. If that's a male fight, they get booed out of the arena. And Dana White tears him to shreds afterwards. That's something else I need to mention in this video. If you haven't agreed with me yet, if that's a male fight, if that's Woodley, let me just show you something here. Woodley versus Thompson 2 stats. This got them booed out of the arena. This had Dana White shitting all over Woodley, saying he's shooting himself in the foot and he's not very good. Round 1, 6-5. 15-14 in round 3 were the stats. 8-8 in round 2. Like, these are better numbers across the board from Wonderboy and Tyron Woodley. They got booed out of the arena. Woodley got shitted on by the entire MMA community. Dana White tore Tyron Woodley to shreds. Shevchenko gets a round of applause because she's so brave. It's so dumb as fuck. Whatever, though. Shevchenko versus Andrade. Make that fight in a couple of months, 3 months or so. I say fight night headliner. Maybe a third fight down on a pay-per-view, but that's why she ain't selling pay-per-views. You know what I mean? But good 5th round. I enjoyed the 5th round. That's when it was like, yeah, here we go. Why not this at the 1st round? Shevchenko said that she had a while to figure out the spirit of the cage. But, like, I don't know. It just looked like she started throwing in the 5th round. And nothing really else, to be honest with you. But, yeah. 5th round was good. Every other round was fucking shit. So, that's my opinion on the fight. There you go. See how that one goes down with the MMA community. Because that was absolutely shit. Rounds 1 through 4. Terrible. There's no way you convince anyone that they're the best fighters in the world if they watched that for it. If I showed my friend who doesn't know MMA rounds 1 through 4, first of all, he'd be unconscious by the end of it because he'd be asleep. Or he'd be angry at me, telling me to change it over. Why are you making me watch this shit? I don't know what I did to you, but I'm sorry. Please stop making me watch this. And then if I told them afterwards, hey, that's the best woman in the world, by the way. Crazy, man. So this is me, the MMA guru, saying this. Shevchenko, you had a shit performance. It was boring as fuck. You need to change that, and you need to do better next time. Okay? I'm going to start treating the women like men, because that's the only way they're going to get as good as them. The women's strawweight division get held to that standard, and they achieve that standard. But it seems like everyone else is fucking fair game to just hug. So fuck them. Shevchenko, you did shit. Better next time. Eh? Goodbye. Thank you for watching the video. Can't wait to get fucking... you're not a pro fighter. You don't know. I know what hugging is. Like and subscribe. Click that button up there. And goodbye. I can't wait to see how this one goes down. Hopefully everyone agrees with me. Just fucking get on them. Get on them big and say they need to fix their fucking ideas up. Otherwise they won't. See you later.